Welcome back. All right, so the final regular season review. This is it. For some of these teams, this is the last time I'll talk about them in a game setting until October 7th or later. So it's the end of another season, successful season. I watched a lot of hockey, made a lot of videos, had a lot of viewers, and thank you guys, each and every one of you that's watched these reviews during this season. All right, we'll start things off with Philadelphia and Buffalo. Kolosov versus Reimer. Shots are 5-1 Buffalo at 4 minutes, and at 4:35, Tuck scores from Zucker and Bernard Docker. McLeod then fires one wide from the slot. There's a power play for the Flyers, and Buffalo scores on it shorthanded. Krebs had half the rink to himself. I would call it a breakaway, but it was way more than that. It was just Flyers, no defense. Tuck with the assist at 13:49. But they would score during that power play. Michkov gets his 25th of the season. The assist to Forster and Couturier at 15:09 to make it 2-1. However, Buffalo gets that right back. Quinn buries one on a 2-on-1 rush. McLeod and Peterka with the assists at 16:11. It's 3-1 Buffalo after the first. This wasn't the best played game, but honestly, none of them were tonight. So, hey, second period, Peterka scores from McLeod at 1 minute and 22 seconds. Shots are 3-0 Sabres at 3 minutes. We get a power play for Buffalo. That's killed off, and 7 seconds after it ends, Michkov gets the second goal of the game from Couturier and Konechny at 7 minutes and 11 seconds. The shots are 8-4 for the Sabres with 5.5 minutes left, and the Sabres are up 4-2 after 2. Third period, Forrester scores 15 seconds in from Cates and Brink. That's the only shot in the first 3.5 minutes. And I think what I enjoyed about this broadcast tonight was it was the Flyers broadcast I had. And they just kept talking about how we don't want the Flyers to get a point because we want them to finish as low as possible so they have a better draft position. I love this time of year. Tip it to Kaplan, near miss. Couturier's denied. Reimer holds. The Flyers nearly score. It's reviewed. No goal. Did not quite cross the line. There's a crossbar for Zucker. The Sabres score. There's a goalie interference challenge. Yep, that goal comes off the board. We then get a power play for the Flyers. That leads to a shorthanded breakaway for Krebs again. That's saved. It then becomes 6-on-4. That's killed off to make it 6-on-5. And Ryan McLeod hits the empty net for his 20th goal of the season. Benson with the assist at 19:13, but at 19:41 the Flyers would answer. Bobby Brink from Michkov and Paling to make the final score 5-4. Buffalo goes to 36-39-7 to end the season. The Philadelphia Flyers 33-39-10. They drop below Boston. They have the same record as Boston, but fewer regulation wins. 3 stars, Tuck, McLeod, and Quinn. Hey, as a Bruins fan, I was hoping they'd at least get a point. Shots on net, 13-5 Buffalo in the first, 11-10 Philadelphia in the second, 9-8 Philly in the third. Final shots, 31-25 Buffalo. Power plays, the Flyers 1 for 2, Buffalo 0 for 1. The hits, 14-10 for Buffalo. Kolosov saves 26 out of 30. Reimer saved 21 out of 25 at the other end. All right, next up. The Detroit Red Wings and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Talbot versus Wall. Shots are 3-0 for Detroit at 3 minutes. Carlo has a slap shot that's held with 5.5 minutes left. The shots are 6 apiece. And at 17:53, Austin Matthews gets goal number 401. He scores from Nyes and Marner, but Detroit would answer. Austin Watson with actually a nice goal. Hall, who used to, I believe, play for the Toronto Maple Leafs, gets the assist on that at 19:18. It's 1-1 after 1. And then at 2:16, Hall, it's a point shot that goes past a partial screen. A bit of an oof here for Woll on Hall. Casper with the assist, so it's 2-1 for Detroit. We get a power play for the Wings, and they score on it. At 5:50, DeBrincat buries a one-timer from the left circle. Sider and Kane with the assist, so it's 3-1 for Detroit. This is where Wall's play started getting a lot better, though. Shots are 6-2 Wings at 7.5 minutes. We get a power play for the Leafs. That lasts 10 seconds and becomes 1 minute and 50 seconds of 4-on-4. Everything's killed off there. Casper has a slap shot that's held. The Leafs draw a power play. That's killed off. We're going to the third period with the score 3-1 for Detroit. 3 minutes and 43 seconds in, it's a beast mode goal by Philippe Myers. Who knew that was coming? Lorentz and Yarncroke with the assist. He just makes it look easy, too. Like, does he always have this in his toolbox? He just doesn't feel like using it? Anyways, shots are 2-0 Leafs at 5.5 minutes. Robertson fires one wide from the slot. They pull the goalie in with 2 seconds left. Chris Tanev roofs one from the slot. Yeah, Tanev. Maybe he has some moves, too. Marner and Holmberg with the assist. So Marner with a couple helpers tonight. I think that takes him up to 102 points on the season. So we go to overtime. 56 seconds in, Scott Lawton buries one from the doorstep to give the Toronto Maple Leafs the win. Mermis and Nyes with the assist. So 4-3 overtime win for Toronto. They go to 52, 26, and 4 to finish out the season. Detroit 39, 35, and 8 at the end of the season. 3 stars are Lawton, Marner, and Myers. That great goal. Yeah. Shots on net favored Detroit for most of it. 13-8 in the first, 15-4 in the second. Then the Leafs outshoot Detroit 7-6 in the third, and they had the only shot of overtime. That's all they needed. Final shots, 34-20 for Detroit. Power plays, Detroit 1 for 2. Toronto 0 for 2. The hits, 17-13 Toronto. Talbot saves 16 out of 20. Wall saves 31 out of 34. He ended up having a pretty good night. All right, next up. The Carolina Hurricanes and the Ottawa Senators. This was a defenses optional game. Anderson versus Ullmark. We get a power play for Carolina. Roslovic has a goal basically, but it's blocked, and then it becomes 4-on-4 as well. Everything gets killed off there. 5.5 minutes in, the shots are 7-1 Carolina, but Ottawa would score first. Gaudette goes far corner from the right circle at 11:55. Nick Cousins with the assist, so 1-0 for Ottawa. Sens draw a power play, that's killed off. Ottawa then gets another power play. Don't make a game out of this. Cousins wires one from the slot on that power play. Batherson and Sanderson with the assists at 16:35. I like it when the Sens combine on the assists there. Then at 17:22, Pinto gets one on a breakaway to make it 3-0. Amadio and Gregg with the assist. This is a laugher. But 9 seconds later, the laughing stops. Kokaniemi scores from Svechnikov and Hall. And then at 19:18, Skylar Brindamore gets his first National Hockey League goal. He's not the only one who recorded his first NHL goal tonight either. Carrier and Morrow with the assists. So it is 3-2 all of a sudden after one. Carolina looking kind of dangerous. Second period, there's a full power play for the Canes to start, and they score on it. At 50 seconds, Svechnikov gets his 20th goal of the season. Stankoven and Gostisbehere with the assists. And then at 4:05, Roslovic scores. So all of a sudden, it's a 4-3 lead in favor of Carolina. But hey, on a turnover at 6:32, Jost buries one. Hall with the assist there. So it's 5-3 Carolina. Ottawa gets a power play. 4 seconds later, it becomes 5-on-3. Carolina kills that off. So it is 5-3 Carolina after 2. Third period, Zetterlund has a turnover chance. That's held in at 4:17. Adam Gaudette gets his 19th goal of the season. Stützle with the assist. Sens then look to tie it. They draw their 6th power play. That's killed off. And then at 10 minutes, Batherson scores from Zetterlund and Cousins. So all of a sudden now the lead keeps going back and forth here. Then we get a power play for the Senators, and they score on it. Batherson from Stützle and Cousins at 13:38. Lots of power plays, because the Canes would then get a power play. That was killed off. The Sens then get another power play with 2:39 left. I said don't make a game out of it, because if you make a game for every time I say it, and then Stützle scores during a delayed penalty. So they were already up 5-on-4, and on an end-to-end rush, Stützle scores at 18:48. Sanderson and Clevin with the assists, so Ottawa goes right back to the power play to end the game and win this one 7-5. Ugly game, but hey, it's a win. 45-30-7 record for Ottawa with the win. With the loss, Carolina 47-30-5. The 3 stars of this game, Batherson, Gaudette, and Stützle. Shots on net, 14-12 Carolina in the first, 12-8 Carolina in the second, 12-7 Ottawa in the third. Final shots are 33-32 for Carolina. Power plays, Carolina 1 for 3, Ottawa 3 for 9. The hits, 23-17 for Ottawa. Anderson saved 25 out of 32. Ullmark saved 28 out of 33. So that's an ouch. Both goaltenders kind of had an ouch night, but so did the defense in front of them. So anyways, Tampa Bay and the Rangers. So it's Johansson versus Shesterkin. It was Sam Rosen's last call tonight. So big emotional evening for Rangers fans based on that. He's been calling their game since, 1984? Long time. So, lone shot on nets for Tampa at 5 minutes. This was not a really high event game. We get a power play for the Lightning. That was killed off. I don't think it recorded a shot. Lafreniere is a net feed that's picked off. With 5 minutes left, the shots are only 2-1 for Tampa. Cirelli can't bury one in close with 28 seconds left. The Tampa Bay Lightning get a power play, so that rolls over into the second period. Hagel has a 3-on-1 chance that's blocked, and then on a 2-on-1 the other way, Trocheck scores shorthanded from JT Miller at 1:02. It's 1-0 in favor of the Rangers. Rangers finish the kill. No shots on net for Tampa Bay during that power play. Rempe is denied from the slot. Gord has a rush chance to save. The Rangers get a power play. It lasts 13 seconds, becomes 4-on-4. Everything killed off there. It's 1-0 Rangers after 2. Third period. The only shot on net belongs to Tampa 3.5 minutes in, so not a lot going on until at 4:02, Kreider roofs one. Zibanejad and Cooley with the assists. Shots are 5 apiece with 9 minutes left, and at 12:50, Zibanejad adds a insurance marker from Keandre Miller, and then at 16:24, Zibanejad gets his 20th goal of the season. Kreider with the assist. Some of these guys get bonuses at 20 goals, and so it makes your final score 4-0. The Rangers go to 39, 36, and 7 with the win. With the loss, Tampa Bay 47, 27, and 8. 3 stars. Sam Rosen was given the first star by the Rangers. That's a fantastic gesture. Zibanejad and Kreider, the other stars of the game. Your shots on net, 5-2 for Tampa Bay in the first. 14-11 Tampa in the second, 9-8 Rangers in the third. Final shots 27-22 for the Lightning. Power plays, Tampa Bay 0 for 3, Rangers 0 for 1. The hits, 10-2 for the Rangers. So Tampa Bay was not hitting tonight. They were not taking the risk. Johansson saves 18 out of 22. Igor Shesterkin, 27 saves for the shutout. All right, and for the last time until October, let's go to board number 2. All right, Washington and Pittsburgh. So Stevenson versus Nedeljkovic. Clay Stevenson getting his first NHL start. At 4:08, McMichael scores from Tom Wilson. So early start for the Caps. Frank then fires one wide on a breakaway. And then at 4:54, Brian Rust answers to tie the game at 1. Koivunen and Grzelcyk with the assists. The shots are 7-3 Pittsburgh at 7 minutes. Beauvillier has a net drive that's defended. It's 1-1 after 1. Second period, shots are 5-1 Washington at 5.5 minutes. We then get a power play for Pittsburgh, and they score on it. At 7:19, it's Rust from Crosby and Koivunen. He roofs this one from the side of the net. Penguins go back to the power play. That's killed off. The Capitals then score to tie it, but the play is offside. And then at 11:56, Sidney Crosby gets a goal to go with the assist he'd already had in this game. Tomasino and Dewar with the assists. Shots are 10-7 Pittsburgh with 5 minutes left. We get a power play for the Caps. There's a post for Chychrun, and then Ovechkin gets goal number 897. This one from Strome and Dubois at 16:56. Caps then look to tie it. Eller has a net drive chance that's held. It is 3-2 Pittsburgh after 2. Third period. The Penguins score, but Stevenson says it was gloved into the net, and the review says it was. So that goal comes off the board. We get a power play for the Caps, and it is a breakaway goal that ends that. It's a shorthanded goal by Heinen at 8:46, like 1 second before the power play's done. And then at 9:01, Tomasino goes far corner from the slot on a rush. Raquel and Grzelcyk with the assists. Makes it 5-2. That's your final score. Pittsburgh goes to 34, 36, and 12 with the win. Washington's backing into the playoffs, 51, 22, and 9. I know teams can turn this on. I'm just saying, I've got a power rankings. I was going to do it tonight after the review. I'm not going to do it tonight. I will do that tomorrow. It'll go live Saturday morning. So I was going to do it tonight, and I thought, watched all this hockey and already done some videos today. I can do it tomorrow and have that ready to go for Saturday morning, which is when, that's done, because it's a regular season power rankings. 3 stars are Rust, Crosby, and Koivunen. Shots on net, 13-5 Pittsburgh in the first, 12-11 Washington in the second, 14-3 Pittsburgh in the third. Final shots, 38-20 for the Penguins. Power plays, both teams go 1 for 2. The hits, 24-16 Pittsburgh. Stevenson, 33 saves on 38 shots. Nedeljkovic saved 18 out of 20. All right, next up. The Islanders and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Hogberg versus Greaves. And I just want to say to the Columbus faithful that were at this game tonight, might have been my favorite fans of the night. Honestly, I would totally have understood if Columbus fans, were let down by the fact that Montreal clinched a playoff spot and if they were quiet tonight, but they were not quiet tonight. Crossbar and out for Gatcomb. The shots on net are 3-0 Columbus at 4 minutes. The teams trade rushes. Jenner fires one wide on a net drive. We get a power play for the Islanders. That's killed off. And there was some momentum for the Islanders in the second half of that period. They could not solve Greaves. Second period, early jump for the Islanders, but at 2:21, Sillinger wires one glove side from the slot. Makes it 1-0. Columbus looks for another. The shots are 5-3 for the Islanders at 6 minutes. But at 7:43, Fabro scores from Jordan Harris. And then at 10:09, Voronkov scores from Werenski and Sillinger. It becomes 3-0. Columbus then scores again, but that one was waved off for a high stick, so that one comes off the board. And then at 15:14, Corrali goes glove side on a rush. Danforth and Goodbranson with the assist. Look at that. 2 glove side. It feels like in the NHL now, that's where you fire the puck, is glove side more often than not. Then at 17:27, Werenski scores from Monahan and Marchenko, and I had to put underneath. It's another good game for Greaves, because when you see this score at 5-0, it's easy to say, well, it was a wipeout. And it really wasn't. The Islanders had a lot of good chances because defense was really optional in these games tonight. And Greaves was fantastic. So we go to the third period. The shots were 3 apiece, 7.5 minutes in. Horvat fires one high on a rush, and then at 14:48, Fasching deflects one in because we can't have a shutout. Zizekas with the assist. We then get a post for Palmieri, as it looks like the Islanders might be making a game of it. And at 18:37, Fantilli ends that kind of noise. He scores to make it 6-1 from Van Riemsdyk. And there are CBJ chance to close this out. It was a good, fun game. 6-1 win for Columbus. The No Mercy Magnets on the board for them. And they go to 40-33-9. They won, what was it, their last 6 games of the year? A lot to be proud of. The Islanders 35-35-12 with the loss. Your 3 stars are Greaves, Werenski, and Monahan. Shots on net, 10-6 Islanders in the first, 16-11 Islanders in the second, 11-9 Islanders in the third. The Islanders outshoot them 37-26. Power plays, there were none for Columbus, and the Islanders went 0 for 1. The hits, 9-8 for Columbus. So that tells you how the defense was. There was no hitting. Hogberg, 20 saves on 26 shots. Greaves, 36 saves on 37 shots. Seriously, the hitting tonight was down, and I totally get why. Nobody wants to get hurt going into the offseason. Nobody wants to get hurt just before the playoffs. In this game, both of them are headed for the offseason. Both of them are going to be headed on vacation as soon as tomorrow. So there's no point getting hurt. I totally understand the hits being down and the defense being optional. All right, last game of the night, and the only one I've been watching for the last 2.5 hours, which is Calgary in LA against the Kings. And all I could think was, I hope this is entertaining because it has my undivided attention. And it wasn't entertaining until the third, to be honest. So it's Vladar versus Riddick. Shots are 2-0 for the Kings at 4 minutes. The Flames start to build some momentum. Things get pushed in a hole by Vladar. We get a power play for Calgary. That's killed off. Shots are 8-4 for the Flames with 8 minutes left. Sharon Govich is denied on a turnover. It's 0-0 after 1. Second period, there's a net feed to Backlund near miss. And then at 2:15, Nazem Kadri is playing the best hockey of his career. He just turns and scores one in close. Klapka and Pahal with the assists. So is Klapka going to be like a top 9 forward for Calgary next year? Because honestly, he had a really good stretch run. Farabee has a rush chance that's held. Things get pushed in a hole by Riddick. Kinda. It's as close. I'm like, that is as close to some kind of pushing on a goaltender holding onto a puck that I've seen tonight. So, sure, I'll write it on the board. It's kind of some pushing. It's more of a, hey, okay, whatever. And then, basically. So, crossbar for Byfield. We then get a power play for the Kings. That's killed off. Shots are 5-3 Calgary with 9 minutes left. Fiala goes beast mode, but that chance is saved. Kings go back to the power play. That's killed off as well. It's 1-0 Calgary after 2. Third period, Vladar denies Ward his first NHL goal, and he remembered. There's a post for Turcotte. We then get a power play for Calgary. That's killed off. And then at 6:05, one of my favorite goals of the season because of how this was shot. Morton gets his first National Hockey League goal in his first NHL game. They immediately cut to his family, which was sitting at that end of the rink. And so you can just turn the camera from him celebrating his goal to his family going nuts in the crowd. I thought it was it was really well done. The assists there to Lomberg and Hunt, making it 2-0. Flames look for another, and they find it. 7:28 in. Kadri, cross-ice pass and in. Hunt and Sharon Govich with the assists, makes it 3-0. And then at 8:24, Parekh gets his first National Hockey League goal. He tips one in, and then he bowled over Coleman when he was going to get the puck. Backlund with the assist. So I think he was going to get the puck. He bowls over Coleman either way. Then at 11:35, Backlund goes top shelf on a rush. He ties Lanny McDonald on the all-time goal-scoring list in his career as a Flame. Coronado with the assist there. We then get a power play for the Kings. And as I mentioned here, I'll say it again here. We're not allowed to have a shutout tonight. The last shutout of the regular season belongs to Stuart Skinner. No, we had a shutout. That was the Shesterkin. That is how memorable tonight's games have been. That I forgot there was a shutout on the first forward. Anyways, it's Ward. Ward gets his first National Hockey League goal. Nice moment for him. Kings crowd gave him a nice ovation as well. Spence and Clark, at least when it was announced that it was his goal. Spence and Clark with the assists at 13:49. And so your final score on this one's 5-1. I also want to give a shout out to Megan Mickelson. She stepped in as the color announcer tonight. The Calgary broadcast was the one that Greg Millen worked on. Clearly, the Calgary broadcast I think there were a couple of games there that Sportsnet actually showed the U.S. feed for rather than the Calgary regional broadcast. I think Megan did a fine job stepping in tonight. It is a difficult position to step into because Greg Millen's basically a legend in Canadian broadcasting. And so I think she did pretty well for it being her first time on nationwide TV. So the Flames win this one 5-1. They go to 41, 27, and 14. The Flames played really well down the stretch. The LA Kings 48, 25, and 9 on the season. Just for the Flames, it was the Blues were ridiculous for so long, right? So I didn't get the 3 stars for this one. I'll go ahead and I'll grab the phone and do it that way. Let's see. 3 stars for this game were Kadri, Parekh, and Taylor Ward got the 3rd star. So 2 of the guys who got their first NHL goals amongst the stars. Shots on net favored Calgary 12-10 in the first, 6-5 in the second, and then 16-12 LA in the third. The third was crazy. Final shots 31-30 for the Kings. Power plays Calgary 0 for 2, LA 1 for 3. The hits 18-15 LA. Vladar saved 30 out of 31. He had a very good night. And Riddick 25 saves on 30 shots at the other end. So there you go. Thanks again for all your support. That is 1,312 more NHL games done. I did not watch all of them, but I watched a very large majority of those games. And at the end of the regular season, I kind of feel like, that's sort of an accomplishment. The only feeling that might be close would be when I would finish a novel, when I thought I was going to be a novelist. When I would finish a novel, I would get that sense of, wow, I finished that. And kind of now with the regular season in the NHL, it is a similar feeling. It's not that same feeling of accomplishment, but it is somewhat similar. And yeah, I self-published them on Amazon. They need some serious editing. Someday, somewhere down the road, I will submit them to a proper publisher, get them all edited up, and then we can start talking about my Into the Void series and all that fun stuff. But I did do the reading of those like 5 years ago on the Entertainment Guy. So either way, thank you guys so much for all your support. Greatly appreciated. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And as I said earlier, I'll say it again here. The power rankings that I was going to do tonight, I'll do those tomorrow. And I'll have them go live on the channel on Saturday morning before we get into the actual playoffs. So sort of as an appetizer just before the playoffs get rolling. So thank you guys for your support. And I will talk to you again soon.